Welcome back! Oh, there comes Dr. Carrington. Just wandering the halls. We just got a light bulb that we can use to fix the broken one in the spiral staircase.
Actually, something occurred to me in between videos. If we look at
Rubbing
Dr.
the charcoal
Carter's
over the notepad has
list.
made the imprint readable. Yvette, 8 o'clock, Egyptian rum. Tut, 10:15, Egyptian rum. Carrington, 11 o'clock, his office.
It says that he was going to meet Yvette at 8 in the Egyptian room, which is both when and where he was murdered. And we saw that footprint that might very well belong to Yvette there, so that's very suspicious. It is, however, still weird that we heard him agree to a much later meeting time with Yvette, so we wonder what caused them to change their minds. Would have been much better for Yvette to kill him at 3 a.m., I think. After all, nobody would have been at the party, or they would have been wandering around, or maybe even gone home. So there would have been fewer witnesses and fewer people with alibis. Anyway, how many Sierra characters does it take to screw in a light bulb? Only one, provided they don't fall to their death while doing it. I don't know, it's a terrible joke. Anyway, now that we can see, we can go down. I'm still saving. And we are in a downstairs hallway room? I don't know. It's not really much in it, so...
This is what is commonly referred to as a hallway.
It is a hallway. I think Ernie said that we weren't supposed to go downstairs, so hopefully nobody will mind or see us. Either way works. What's over here?
The glass covering the alcove is marked with the words, "For emergency use only."
What is for emergency use only? What's in there? That's what I want to know.
Beyond the glass is a shadowy object resting in an alcove. Perhaps it's a lantern, although you can't tell for certain.
A lantern! Now that would come in handy. And considering people are being murdered, I think this counts as an emergency. We need to be able to break the glass, however, and I kind of already gave it away, but you can't do that.
The glass covering the alcove is smooth and cool to the touch.
You can't do that with your bare hands, so we need something big and heavy, and the bone will do. And I believe that is Olympia's ferret.
This is what is commonly It's Olympia's ferret, Daisy.
Indeed. She is of no concern, though. We want that lantern.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
I actually got that the first time. That is kind of surprising, to be honest. Often, Wolf will spot you here and chase you back upstairs, which is not really a problem, because you can just come back downstairs and try it again. I do think like the glass gets replaced if you break it and then he spots you, which is kind of weird. However, does not matter at this moment, because he did not actually chase me.
An office door.
An office door?
The door to one of the labs.
And the door to one of the labs.
A gleaming column of fine Italian marble, burnt sienna in color, topped with a Corinthian-style capital of expert craftsmanship. Since you're the sort of person who splits hairs, you've probably noticed that the capital is a curious combination of Corinthian and Ionic architectural styles. These pillars remind you of that class in architecture you were forced to take at Tulane University The professor would have been outraged by such a ludicrous mixture of early Greek styles. However, it's well known that the Lion Decker Museum was designed by a half-mad eccentric in the 19th century, Arvin Slatherlord Loudermilk III, so you're not really surprised by the presence of architectural anomalies. In a way, these oddities lend a certain peculiar charm to the character of the museum.
You never know when looking at something is going to give you a novel's worth of text in this game. Anyway, nice that they took the time to decorate this hallway that can only be reached by secret passage.
Sometimes a column is just a column, even when it was designed by a pillar of society such as Arvin Slatherlord Loudermilk III. It's just a simple column. Really.
Okay.
This is what... It looks remarkably like a carved wooden ceiling.
It looks like that because it is that, I would assume. Anyway, at this point we have a lantern.
A Ruhmkorf Coil lantern with a hand crank on the base.
Which means we could go and check out that secret passage in Olympia's office. And actually, let's go try that. It's kind of a risky thing because you don't always have time to do that. And if I have to restart again, I may skip this part. It is possible to be on time while doing this, though.
You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
I do.
You hear muffled...
Yes, I did.
Well, lass, we've known each other a long time, and I'm not ready to get married yet. But I know one thing for sure. I love you.
Oh, my great detective, this feeling, it is mutual.
Just be keeping in mind that I'd have to kill you if I ever found out you were sleeping with someone else.
What? Oh, you are to be making the little joke, no? Your sense of humor, it is magnifique.
I've already had one bad marriage, and it won't happen again. It's been a long time since I've been able to trust anyone as much as I trust you.
This is very flattering, my love. I am never to be knowing someone like you either. You are so good and so kind.
Well, I try, lass. I try. It's not easy being a cop in this town. The place is lousy with criminals, even in the police force.
Oh no, how terrible.
Sure, and it's a hard thing when a cop goes bad. I've seen it happen. A cop spends years fighting crime and watching the hoods get rich while he risks his life to make just a few bucks. The first time a cop takes a bribe, it bothers him. But then it gets easier.
You are such a strong man, my Ryan. You would never be accepting the payoff, no?
Sure, and I'm shocked that you'd even say such a thing, Yvette.
I'm sorry, my love. I should have known better.
You'll have to show me how sorry you are. Kiss me.
Gladly, my love. How can I resist?
Okay, well, if Yvette gets murdered, I guess we have our prime suspect right there. And she might be in trouble, considering her habits. Anyway. We were on our way to a secret passage. And because Laura likes to walk into the secret passage immediately after you've opened it, you have to turn on the lantern first. Now that we've done that, I never really inspected this, did I?
The skull is amazingly well preserved. The skull.
I guess you cannot actually see that there's anything weird about it.
The skull of the long...
Nope. You just have to click it and find out, and then probably die.
But now, with our lantern lit, we can go down. And it's a lab by the look of it.
It's the Alcoholic Preservation Laboratory.
I see.
Vat 14. There's a vaguely humanoid shape floating in the murky liquid. After staring through the glass for a while, you see what appears to be white hair, or perhaps it's a large jellyfish.
And there's a bunch of vats here with stuff that's preserved.
Yikes! For a moment there it looked like a puffy eyeball was staring back at you. Now all you can see is a piece of royal blue cloth.
Weird looking person shape in there for some reason. Can actually climb these things. That's definitely a guy that's in there.
Wielding your skimming net with authority, you probe around in the vat, completely ignoring the corpse of a king who keeps getting in the way of your search.
Okay. Why is there a king in
the
there?
alcohol fumes sure are strong in here.
Important to note. Yeah, we can try and climb each and every one of these, but that would take forever. So let's not.
A hanging light.
Oh. Yes, there is a light in front of that. I didn't even see that.
Vat 13. Indistinct shapes are floating in the murky liquid. None of the creatures are close enough to the glass to see what they are.
At least there's no more people in there.
You notice several dried streaks of liquid on the outside of the vat, up near the top.
Okay.
Vat 12. Small creatures with long tails are floating in the murky liquid. Vat 11. Something odd is floating in the murky liquid. It appears to be half man and half fish. Or maybe it's just a trick of the light.
Probably just a trick of the light.
The creature is too far away in the vat to make out any more detail. Vat 10. Is that a unicorn floating in the murky liquid? Can't be. Unicorns are mythical creatures.
Indeed.
Vat 9. Tiny furry creatures, too cute for words, are floating in the murky liquid. There are so many of them in here that their individual shapes merge together into one massive fur ball.
What are there tribbles in there?
Upon close... Vat 8. A thick body with two long bird-like legs and a long neck ending in a small head floats in the vat.
An ostrich?
Vat 7. Whatever is in this vat, it's huge with a long neck. The liquid is too murky to see more.
A giraffe, maybe.
Vat 6. Small furry creatures about the size of the average dog, colored black with white stripes, are floating in the vat. Vat 5. A large, hairy creature with at least one huge claw is floating in the murky liquid of the vat. Vat 4. A bulky creature with a huge head is floating in the vat. Vat 3. Very long tubular shapes, like lengths of thick rope, are floating in the murky liquid. Vat 2. Peering through the glass, you see a turtle floating nearby in the liquid. Vat 1. Small marsupials are floating in the murky liquid.
Alright, good to know. Where are we, though? Wait, aren't I supposed to...
Interesting.
Yes.
I've never noticed that before.
You never noticed what, my love?
You have a tattoo of the Eiffel Tower on the inside of your left eye.
Ah, you are doing this to distract me, no? But I am worried about you, my Ernie. You are so big and so strong. But this ice pick fellow, he is a dangerous one, no?
Yeah, he's dangerous, but I'll pay him his dough. Ernie Leach always pays his debts.
Maybe you can do some more fencing for this Big Al. He pays well.
Yeah, Big Al's a good customer. but there's only so much fencing I can do for one guy.
This ice pick might try to make the example of you before you can pay him off. He keeps leaving these threatening messages.
Don't worry, baby. Icepick knows he won't get his dough if he kills me. Maybe I can get into a hot poker game down at the Harlem Swinger and win enough money to pay him off.
No, no, no. The gambling is what got you into this mess, my Ernie.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But I've got bigger problems tonight. I saw something I wasn't supposed to see.
What?
You're better off if I don't tell you about it. Now, what's this on the top of your Eiffel Tower tattoo?
I think you know what it is, my Ernie. You've seen it before.
And I always enjoy seeing it again, baby.
Ah, you American men are so charming.
Okay, so Ernie has some gambling debt. And that might be why he's in the fencing business. Also, he saw something that he wasn't supposed to, although unfortunately, we don't know what. Can't actually walk in on them, I think. Yep.
Sacré bleu!
Hey, you nosy dame, can't you see we're busy? Scram!
Oh. It was still showing me the busy cursor, so I didn't know I was supposed to leave by myself. You can't do anything while they're in that room, unfortunately. So let's check out this door in the back.
Another lab door.
What's this, by the way?
A dusty specimen examination table with a drain at one end. A wooden workbench loaded with many empty glass containers that smell of alcohol, although one of them is full of an oily liquid. The desk is dusty, giving you the impression that it's not used very often.
Can we take that?
Dust comes off on your hand when you touch the desk and the glass containers. Attempting to move the containers, you find that they are welded in place by grime.
Okay, that's obviously not used very much then. Let's just check this other lab door. Oh, Olympia.
Oh, good evening, Miss Bow.
Hi, Dr. Miklos. I'm sorry if I startled you.
Oh, that's okay. I enjoy being startled. And please, call me Olympia.
Okay, Olympia. You enjoy being startled?
It gets the blood flowing. I love it. I was just trying to find Daisy, my ferret. She usually has the run of the museum, but it's time for me to feed her.
And you think she might be in here?
Well, she's been spending a lot of time in here lately for some reason. She probably likes the unusual smells. Who knows?
Can I help you look for her?
Thanks, but I'm sure I can find her. Would you mind leaving me for a while so she'll come out of hiding?
Certainly. Sorry to disturb you.
We actually saw her ferret earlier. Could have told her where it was. In the basement hallway. I guess we are in the basement since we saw Olympia go down the spiral staircase. And now she's here. Unfortunately, it means we also cannot look around in that room. Which means we can only leave. Oh, okay, that just comes out here. So yeah, if you run out of time in order to do all of this before 10:15, you can in fact just go into the lab from there and see the same conversations happen. And you will get an opportunity later to try the secret passage in Olympia's office. Although strangely for me, it tends to tell me that I can't do it while someone's there, even though no one is there until much later in the game. But it is still possible. Anyway, at this point we've actually done everything we need to do before 10:15. So now we can go check to see about that meeting that Pippin Carter wrote about in his notepad. And hopefully I will make that. Which means we need to go to the Egyptology room, because that's where he said he was going to meet Dr. Smith. Just to see if somebody will show up there. Of course, once you've uncovered the info in his notebook, you might be inclined to immediately go there, but if you do not go downstairs first, you will not get a chance to see those conversations with Olympia and Yvette. So if you want to see everything, you have to do it in this order. And I made it. And there's Dr. Smith. Why would he show up to a meeting with a dead man?
Good evening, Dr. Smith.
Miss Bow, I did not expect to see you here.
Ah, but I knew you were coming.
You did? How?
How is not important. The question is, why are you here?
I had an appointment with Dr. Carter.
You must be aware that he's dead.
Dead? Why, I had no idea.
Died right here in this room, as a matter of fact. I'm surprised you hadn't heard.
I'm shocked. I don't know what to say.
I bet you don't. Where were you at 8 p.m. when he died?
At the party, of course. You saw me there.
Actually, I didn't see you there at that time.
But you must. Oh, well, there was the phone call.
Phone call.
Mr. Heimlich told me I had a call waiting on Dr. Carrington's telephone. When I arrived in his office, the line was dead. So I returned to the party.
Was Dr. Carrington in his office?
No, he was at the party.
Did Mr. Heimlich tell you who was calling?
No, he didn't take the call, and I don't know who told him about it.
You and Dr. Carter seemed to argue a lot about the Dagger of Amon Ra.
We had our differences of opinion, yes.
Did you kill him?
Miss Bow, I am shocked that you would ask me such a thing. I am leaving.
We'll talk again later.
This actually kind of doesn't make any sense, because he was there when everybody got interviewed by O'Reilly, and we also asked him about the murder of Dr. Carter earlier, and he seemed to know about it then. So that's kind of weird. So I don't really believe him when he says he did not know about it. So why did he come here then? That is a good question. That, or it's just a plot hole. Anyway, we made it, and things are a little bit easier from here on out, although there are still a few timed things they're not so hard to make on time. Plus, we've pretty much spent most of our time looking around at stuff, because we've been in most of the rooms. Not quite all, but I have to click all the way down there. But pretty close. What? Okay. It's another murder. Or some kind of horrible, gruesome accident.
Yeah, these deaths keep getting weirder in this game. Somebody has been impaled by the pterodactyl.
How ironic. After untold millions of years, this pterodactyl has claimed a new victim, a male specimen of Homo sapiens, which has been pinned to the floor by the pterodactyl's monstrous beak.
Okay, but who is it?
The corpse is wearing a black tuxedo jacket. At the moment it's a poor fit, especially around the neck.
Yes, because this corpse seems to be missing its head.
Looks. A large pool of blood has formed around the corpse. It has barely begun to congeal, indicating that the incident must have taken place within the past few minutes.
That seems to suggest that Dr. Smith is at least not the killer in this particular incident, because he was with us.
The blood has begun to clot, darkening and thickening. It's difficult to judge whether or not this blood is primarily from the neck wound or the point where the pterodactyl's beak impaled the body. Or both.
I'm going with both. Also, it's kind of suspicious that this corpse is missing its neck. That makes it seem like it's not an accident.
Your careful observation reveals that this is a rented tuxedo bearing the marks of repeated alterations. There is a stain above one pocket. A whiff reveals the strong, fresh scent of champagne.
A rented tuxedo? So not somebody who goes to these kinds of events often. Doesn't really look like Steve. Doesn't look like his physique. Plus the boots would give that away, I think.
You gently touch the pool of blood. It's very slightly coagulated. You search the pockets and find nothing but the usual lint. You decline to take the jacket with you since it apparently contains no clues and is skewered to the floor anyway.
Good point.
The left arm and hand are splayed out to the side. A quick glance reveals nothing grasped in the hand or up the sleeve. You move the arm and it flexes easily. Rigor mortis is not yet set in.
More indications that this happened recently.
You search the left arm for clues but come up empty-handed.
Haha!
The right hand of this unfortunate soul is flung out to the side. The right hand and arm bend easily. Rigor mortis has not had a chance to set in. You find a large grease stain on the right sleeve. You give it a quick whiff and identify the scent of turkey hors d'oeuvres.
So this was someone who was at the party. That doesn't really tell us anything.
You examine the pants currently being worn by the lifeless body on the floor. They're tuxedo pants with a thin stripe of satin up the side of each leg. The pants are stained with the usual fluids that seep out during death, which explains the smell, but you find nothing unusual. The pants are damp and you're getting much too personal, Laura.
Hey, I'm just doing my job.
Close inspection reveals that these rented tuxedo pants have been altered many times. There's a small mustard stain on one leg.
Again, it does not really tell us anything. How about the pterodactyl himself?
The pterodactyl is cold and lifeless, which is not unusual since it's been dead for millions of years. You don't suspect it died from foul play, but you never know.
Yeah, that seems unlikely.
Though it hardly seems appropriate, you marvel at the intricacy of the construction. The pterodactyl has been covered with authentic animal hide of some sort, stretched over a rigid framework. There's nothing suspicious about it, however.
How about these wires, however? Maybe they can tell us how this thing came down.
This is one of the 3 wires that formerly suspended the pterodactyl from the ceiling. You examine the free end of the wire. It's been clipped cleanly with a slight bend a centimeter or 2 beneath the cut end. This was no accident.
Indeed. Well, the missing head kind of gave that away, but at least we know for sure that this pterodactyl did not fall on its own accord.
You yank on the wire. It's very strong and firmly attached to the pterodactyl.
Doesn't look like there's anything else we can find here. And it is now 11:15. And Yvette is just standing here, apparently not minding the fact that there's a corpse right here. Did we talk to her about Dr. Carter yet?
Ah, Monsieur Pipin, it is so sad. Such a great man. To die in such a way makes my heart break, no? We had not talked much until this evening, when he finally had the time during the party. He was going to meet me after the party so we could get to know each other.
Now, was that meeting at 8 or 3? That's what I want to know. Oh, yeah, you can ask about everything. Gets a bit tedious, though. I'm going to ask about this Ankh, because we found both that and the evidence of her footprint at the murder scene.
The Ankh, it is the Egyptian jewelry, no? Dr. Smith wears one around his neck.
Nothing helpful, though. Can't really ask her about this particular murder because we don't know who it is.
Bonjour, Miss Beau. How are you enjoying the museum this evening?
I find it very stimulating.
You be careful walking around in this place with the murderer loose. Stay near the Detective O'Reilly or Monsieur Heimlich.
Thanks, but I can take care of myself.
Ah, but you'll keep saying that until the murderer he kills you. Please be careful. You seem like a very nice young woman. I would hate to see the bad things happen to you.
Yes, unless you are a murderer, which so far you are our prime suspect. Yeah, we can't talk about this obvious corpse here, unfortunately. Now, if I needed to hide a head in this museum, where would I do that? That would help us identify who the corpse is, after all. Isn't there a room full of heads that we saw earlier? Indeed, there is. Let's see, is there anything here that does not belong? Yep. It is Ziggy, who had his head prematurely removed.
Oh no! That doesn't look like a life mask.
Indeed.
It's Ziggy's head!
I like how you needed a magnifying glass to figure that one out.
You reach out sadly towards Ziggy's severed head, then draw away. He's clearly beyond all help.
Indeed. I don't think CPR is going to work at this point.
Oh no!
Yeah, there's not really anything you can do with this. Everywhere you click will just give the same message. Oh, sorry, my mouse is being difficult.
What is going on in here?
I'd say you've got some explaining to do, young lady. Why are you screaming?
I found Mr. Ziggy's head.
Very odd how you are always finding the bodies, Miss Beau. I think we should be going back to my office and interrogating you now.
Here now, Wolf. The young lady just found a man's head. Give her a moment before you get out your thumb screws then.
Thank you, Mr. O'Reilly.
Don't thank me, lass. I'm not saying you didn't kill the man. I'm just trying to restrain Mr. Heimlich's enthusiasm for his job.
But I will get results. Let me talk to her privately.
Now I realize you're just trying to help, Wolf, but I think we can learn what we need from the lass without harming her.
She could lie and you'd never know it. You Americans are too soft on your criminals.
I just walked in and found his head, that's all.
Well, Mr. Heimlich does have his point, lass. It's a wee bit curious that you keep showing up at the murder scenes before anyone else. How do you explain that, then?
Just lucky, I guess.
Well, you do seem a wee bit small to be sawing off a man's head, I'll say that much.
Thanks.
This Fräulein could have had help. Or maybe she's very clever.
Or maybe you're trying to pin the murders on her, so you can find the murderer and save your job, eh?
My job is quite secure, Herr O'Reilly.
Oh, really now? A security chief who allows burglars to steal the exhibits, then overlooks several murders happening under his nose. I'd think twice about your security methods if I was running things here.
This is hardly the place to discuss my methods, Herr O'Reilly. We have a suspect to interrogate.
Correction. We have a murder scene to investigate. We can talk to the lass later when she's had a chance to calm down.
Thank you again, sir.
You're a sturdy one, I'll say that much for you. One scream and you've got your head together again, so to speak. Just don't try to leave the museum.
I can't leave. I'm locked in.
Good. We won't have to worry about you then. All right, Wolf. We've got work to do. Let's go get the crime scene tools.
Well, at least they seem to be doing something useful. Other than, you know, interrogating me. But that makes murder number 2. And this time it was Ziggy. The motive there is a little bit harder to figure out, I think. After all, if it was Dr. Smith, he would have killed Carter because of the dagger, but why Ziggy? And if it was Yvette, we really don't know either way this far what her motive was. Actually, come to think of it, the gift shop was locked, so no one could have gotten a dagger out of there to stab Dr. Carter with. Except for the person who earlier swapped the real dagger for one of the fake ones. Interesting. So it's very likely that whoever this murderer is also our dagger thief. And since there was no sign of break-in, someone inside the museum is a likely candidate for that, and that might be Yvette. In which case, she murdered Dr. Carter to cover up the theft, perhaps. I don't know. We definitely need more information, but we'll go looking for that in the next video.